Welcome in to the Blue Coats Beat. The Blue Coats, of course, the NBA G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers, alongside Blue Coats Ambassador of Basketball, Joe Richmond. I'm Matt Murphy, and we are pleased to be joined by a pair of Delaware basketball Hall of Famers, the new head boys basketball coach at William Penn High School, Gary Lumpkin, and assistant coach, Tale Davis. Thank you both for joining us on this episode. We'll get right into it. Obviously, some unique times right now, but for both of you, what has the support from the Delaware community been like so far since the announcement this summer?
You want to go first, G?
Sure, I can. Well, it's been overwhelming. Well, at first it was pretty overwhelming, and but it's been consistent. A lot of people still support us. They've always supported us, and we're looking forward to really getting going, hopefully this year, and letting our coaching knowledge, now that we don't play like that anymore, letting our coaching knowledge take over and hopefully impart something into the kids of today.
Yeah, on my end, it's been a lot of support. A lot of people were pretty excited and happy, like just excited the fact that I, was coming back to the alma mater with G. And I was I was at Newark for a while with McCants, but McCants was like, he said, "Tell, you got to go." He said, "Man, that would be big for Delaware." He's like, "You got to go." He gave us, his blessings, and I was like, I was excited to do it because, reuniting back with Lump, and it's like it was always easy to play with him, and because he was a great player. And then when I saw him coaching, when he was coaching out in Ohio, we talked, and I was like, Gary know that basketball stuff. So, it was easy for me, man. I was like, I can't wait. And a lot of parents, have contacted me, and my son want to do this, my son want to do that. Go register with school first. You got to do that part first. You got to come in eligible. But it's been pretty good, though. It's been a positive reaction, response from all the people.
And Joe, I know you're excited about it, and you're excited to have a chance here on the Blue Coats Beat to talk to both of these coaches.
And, for you, Matt, I know it's probably a little different, but for me, coming from Philly, I knew about these guys. When I came to Delaware 20 years ago, their names were synonymous with basketball. I mean, you couldn't say basketball anywhere in the state without these names coming up. There's another name attached to these guys. They'll bring it up on their own. But, the basketball community in Delaware is really close-knit, and that's why you hear Tell say he got the blessing to go be with Lump, because everybody understands the relationships and the camaraderie, and they respect that more than anything.
Quick rundown of this episode. We'll talk a little bit more about the new gigs. We'll get into both of your playing careers and basketball in the state of Delaware in general. We'll shift into some conversation maybe about the Blue Coats and the G League. And then we'll get one final question at the buzzer that I think is going to be a little bit of a debate and a little bit of fun. So everybody stay tuned for that. But to get things going, state champions as players. Gary, after your playing career for Skip Prosser at the collegiate level at Xavier, you stayed in Ohio coaching and teaching. Now you've used the phrase full circle. How does it feel for things to come full circle at William Penn?
That's amazing. Every day, I'm just appreciative, and I'm very grateful to be back. This was something that has been, a work in the making. Me and my wife have talked about it, or we had talked about it for a lot of years. It didn't, this didn't just happen overnight. Me and Tail had actually talked sparingly here and there, about the possibility of coming back. And I know I'd always told him, I said, man, listen, I come back, I would love the chance to get to coach with you, and we both coach at Penn. And he was like, man, I'm with you. So to be able to come back, do a full circle, and quite honestly, 4 out of the 5 staff that I have in the program are William Penn alumni. And so I'm really trying to bring the heart of William Penn back together and, get this winning streak going in terms of winning championships and competing at a high level.
Well, you both played the game at a very high level and played in some big games, high school, college championship games, professional games, whatever league or event, you name it. Who are some of the best players you've ever played with or against? And we'll start with Tail. I know you might need to think through that one a little bit.
I'm pretty sure he's going to come up with like a lot of the same names as far as being here in Delaware. In Delaware, of course, playing with Lumpkin and Lenny and Gary, like even players that a lot of people didn't speak of, when we played because it was Tail, Lenny, Gary, like DJ Wootson, BJ Blake. That was from William Penn. And I know I'm missing some, but you got Anthony Laws, Corey Curtis, Jermaine Medley, like Tyson Waterman, like a lot of the guys that everyone knows. Like our era, when we played, it was like every high school team had like 2 or 3 guys that could potentially be first team all state, like Mike Bryson, Sheehy, Barnes, Wilmington High had their 3. It was like a lot of teams, Ralph Blaylock, and that's just in Delaware. But when I went like to Richmond, it was totally different. It was a bunch of NBA guys, overseas guys. So Big Ben Wallace coming in the gym, Charles Oakley, Corey Alexander. Like it was just numerous guys that I was like in awe of until we got on the court. And it was like, I want to beat these guys. And I learned so much. AJ English, he took me under his wing. Like he came home from overseas and came down there and kind of like got in my behind a little bit because he's like, yo, you're not taking care of business. Like, I mean, he gave me some tough brotherly love. And I was like, I couldn't say nothing because I wasn't playing up to my capabilities, so AJ, like my brother Derek was like constant in my ear. Quincy, I can go on forever, but I'll let Gary answer, give his answer because and I know I left a lot of guys out. Don't charge it to my mind, not my heart though.
But before Gary go, Matt, I just want you to hear that big 3 didn't just come up now. That big 3 was Big Bank. Everybody had the big 3 already.
Yeah, for sure. Man, many of the same names, like you said, and I'm thinking just in terms of point guards, every night, man, it seemed like every night we was matching up against somebody. Jerry Barnes, Mount Pleasant, Anthony Laws, like you said. Really trying to think. Court Keevis Gardner, who, didn't get a lot of pub, but he was a very good, but Duffy Samuels. A lot of these names were just constantly coming up. And college, at the college, of course, I played, my 3-man there was James Posey. And a lot of stars were coming in the gym. Tyrone, Brian Grant, Tyrone Hill. A lot of guys were just coming back and playing with us. And Lenny, of course, went with me. Ended up meeting me at Xavier, coming from Maine Central Prep. And so, Darnell Williams, who was a great player in his own right, and along with a Hall of Fame coach like Skip Prosser, Coach Battle, who I'm sure you probably know, Joe, Coach Jeff Battle that played at Marshall, grew up in Philly.
Yes, sir.
That's my, that's like, big brother, dad to me. And so, man, so many guys I played with, got coached by, and then in terms of playing against, Tyson Wheeler was probably the best point guard, one of the best point guards I've played against in my entire life. Him and a guy named Bevan Robin that played at Fordham was a really big name then. Lamar Odom, and the list can go on and on, man. Even it was funny. Tail played me on this team. This was kind of like our coming out party, so to speak. But we played against Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul. We played against him one time in Conshohocken at the Fellowship Hall. And so we had a great battle against him and Malik Allen and some other all-star type guys. So man, the list goes on and on. This game has been good to us.
Forgot about Prophet and John Gordon.
Prophet and John Gordon. John Gordon was crazy good. Yes.
Wow. A lot of names, and that's certainly cool about the Kobe Bryant story as well. Quick follow-up before Joe jumps in with another one, but how does coaching compare to playing for you both? And Gary, we'll go to you first here.
To me, coaching's not much different. And when I say that, I say it in a way to mean I coach the game as hard as I played. And I want the kids to understand the passion and intensity that comes with playing it as well as it is with us coaching it. You know, even when I was in Ohio, I coached girls. Well, I coached boys for a year, and then I was head coach of a girls team. And you know, many people were kind of shocked at how hard I coached. And and I told them, I said, man, it's no different playing than this coaching. You know, you want to learn this game and you want to play it to the best of your ability and you want to coach to the best of your ability. One day I hope to go down with some of the great names like Stan Waterman and some of these coaches that have won multiple, crazy amount of titles. I want to, I hope that myself and Tel and my coaches that, that we're in that talk with them. And so coaching and playing, same thing, same intensity. We got to do it even more. Sometimes it's frustrating though, because what you did on the basketball court and the way you coach, you wish sometimes like this is the way you do it, but you can't go do it for them. You got to be better now at making it easy for them to explain it so that they understand it and can transfer it from practice to the game.
How about for you, Taylor?
When I first got into it, like when I first got into coaching, Anthony Sweets, right from Tatnall, like, Taylor, just come coach with me. And I didn't have a clue about coaching because I was still actively playing and competing, like in different leagues. So my mentality was that of a player. So I had to like really humble myself and admit to myself that I didn't know anything. I was like, I don't know anything. I don't understand what you're talking about because all I knew was how to go do it. Right. So to try to teach it and teach the kids, and it was humbling, and it was like, but it was exciting at the same time because it was like, yo, I can get these kids to do what I want them to do, and to see it work, it's like unbelievable. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, so you didn't know to rotate that? And I was like, you know what, Tim? And I told Gary that, I said, yo, we have to assume that these kids don't know anything. Like, we have to teach them everything because I still remind, I'm like, Gary, they're not us. They don't know what we knew. They didn't play as much as we played because it can get frustrating because you think they would know that because we knew it. And that's the biggest battle for me. Like, nope, you got to teach them. You got to show them. You got to show them. And like, I had the opportunity to be around like great coaches like McCants, Sweets, and coach from William Penn. And it was like, I learned so much because I was like, yo, I just never knew it was this much that goes into coaching. I just knew we need this. All right, give me the ball. I go do it. But now to get kids that's not as talented as you were, that's a whole different challenge. Like, and it's something that I look forward to. And I know I can learn a lot from Gary because Gary, he has it, he was a point guard. So he was almost like the extended coach to where I was like, man, look, I'm going to be open. Hit me. I got it. And Gary had to figure out when to give it to me and how to do it. So I look forward to learning from Gary in that aspect or whatever. But it's a lot of fun to me. Like, I look forward to it. Like I said, like Gary said, man, we used to winning, and that's what I want to instill in the kids. And I said, Gary, we got to get them to buy into what we're selling. We got to do that. That's the main objective I want them to, so we can create an identity of what type of team we want to be.
So I want to know, and I know, and I want you honest. I want to be honest now. Did George Sweet never just say, yo, me and Taylor against the 10 of y'all? yo, no, but at least go tell Gary we can't do that. Y'all sub in who y'all want to sub in. Y'all 5 against me and Tail, and we gonna show y'all like 2, like. But really, what I want now, because people don't understand. That's why the Magic Johnsons had a hard time. The Isaiah Thomases had a hard time. The Larry Birds had a hard time. And it's amazing when you had these conversations with guys that didn't do it on that level because you don't understand. It's hard because they trying to pound it in those guys' head like how you don't want it. Like The Last Dance gave us that insight on that craziness of Jordan, that mentality, like how you don't want to win this bad. Like,
absolutely.
And it's hard when you didn't do it and you don't have that. But I want to just really say the reason I believe that this is so amazing that these two come together is our city right now needs this type of leadership, not just William Penn, not just Christian, these are two gentlemen that are well respected, not just in the basketball community, but in the community. And this is with these young people that I know they're going to touch their lives. And I believe it's going to filter down from those kids back to their neighborhoods so that we can get a change going on. Did that also impact you for coming back home, Lump, and saying, man, I got to get back and give, because, the Storm and Normans of the world, those are not around. The ghost of the world, those opportunities and those leagues are not there like they used to be, with some wisdom and some guidance, not just running a basketball league. So how do you see that fit with you being at William Penn, knowing that you're there, but you still have a responsibility to the state because this is who both of you love?
Well, that was something else that myself and Tel talked about. We're here to give back. Not just to the kids of William Penn, but when we go to the center in Wilmington and when we go to the Wire, wherever we're going, we got to understand that there's going to be people that we are going to affect, and we need to positively affect them. One of the biggest things I said coming back was that I have to find a way to reach the youth, man. It was pretty disheartening being in Ohio, and it seemed like almost every other day I was hearing about somebody dying or somebody getting shot, or it was always something going on with our youth. And so to come back, man, I'm not saying, of course, that I will solve the problem, but I'm willing to do whatever I can for, these young people to give them a positive look in life, man, and hopefully turn their lives around and want to be something, successful in life, and, just give them an outlet. Even if it's not in terms of playing a sport, giving them, somebody who will listen, somebody who will, try to understand where they're coming from. And that's why I coach, John, Matt. Like, that's one of the main reasons I started coaching. Coach Prosser, again, he taught me, I felt like he was one of the angels in my life that God allowed me to see for a short time. And he taught me about, understanding where people are coming from, getting to know people, and getting and putting your best self forward so that a relationship is formed that is unbreakable. And there were so many positive things I heard about him, and that's the way I wanted to mirror my life too. I want people to look and say, Gary understands. He wants to help and he wants to be there. He's not going to have all the answers, but he's going to do whatever he can to help the youth.
And going off that, that was a great answer and really inspiring about your reasons for coaching and your experiences. But going off that, there aren't many markets in the entire country that have an NBA G League team as well. Delaware has the Blue Coats. What do you think that type of presence and a state-of-the-art facility like 76ers Fieldhouse can represent for the community?
I think that's major. That's major. And being a former player, the conversation always, man, it would have to happen when we all old and gray and can't play. But like every time I ride by it, my son is like, Dad, look at the gym. And I'm like, yeah. And once I went in there and I had the opportunity to play on the court, I was like, yo, I would have loved this in high school. Like that gym alone would make me want to be like, I got to do what I have to do so I can get to this gym. Like, I mean, I feel like that now and I can't even play no more. But every time I ride by that gym, I'm like, yo, and the gym is, I'm like, yo, that gym is for shooters. It's a great, atmosphere. I feel like that's big for the kids to see it. Like it's reachable and it's tangible. It's right in your neighborhood. It's right there, and the programs that they have there with the Czech Rock League and everything, and just players having camps there with Trevor and the kids being able to go there and be on the actual court that the professionals play on. That's major. I couldn't imagine having that growing up. Like I probably would never went to sleep thinking, I got to get there because it's right there. And it's great that they built it right there because it's in the heart of the city. And it's walking distance. And it's like I said, it's tangible. You can see it. And you see the big 76ers just like, that's unbelievable right there, And I feel like it's an amazing thing that it's right there, man. And like I'm happy that it's there. I wish I was a little bit younger because I still try to play.
Yeah, that's and I just echo what Del said, man. Listen, if they thought we played a lot when we didn't seem to have, many places to go. If we had something like that, man, y'all would have saw the gym. I mean, that arena would have been packed out with all the players we had because we all wanted to play. I mean, Joe, like we would go travel to different parks and play Prices and all these different parks. They'll reckon all these places. Imagine if we had that to go in there and you got guys like Mar working guys out. Like there's so much stuff for the youth to do. They gotta take advantage of that, man. I was so happy to hear that that G League team came and the way they give back and the way they're willing to pour into the young people.
I wanted to say before Matt go, that was one of our biggest things when I reached out to a lot of coaches. Like, listen, this is where, because when you go to the G League games, those are some of the best guys that you see in college and high school that are still fighting to get to the NBA. So it's right in our backyard. And I always encourage coaches, man, you need to bring your team and say, yo, see that guy? He was all state. He was all this, and he's still working hard to get there. And like Tell say, when you see that 76, that's your dream. You can see your dream every day if you want to get there. Yeah. So I echo it. I love it. And I'm so glad that you guys are in a position to send that message to those young people.
Awesome.
Joe, I'm going to send this one to you because I'm the only non-Delaware guy, so to speak, here. But before we start to wrap it up a little bit, I'm going to send it to you, and then you can throw it around the horn to these coaches. What do you think makes basketball in Delaware at all levels so special?
I think because of it's a close-knit. I think, you're arm's throw away from one neighborhood to the next in Delaware. You ride straight down to 95. I think the highway makes it easy to get off the different veins and get to different schools and different neighborhoods. And I just think there's a different level of respect that guys have seen coming up since I've been here. For me, I'm a basketball historian. I love the game. But the one thing I do love more than anything is I respect the game. I don't, if they played and made it, I'm on it. Taylor tell you, we could go back and tell some stories. He's one of the baddest players I've seen that never made it to me. I'm just being blue. I've told you many times, haven't I, Taylor? I've said it many times that when I came here, was trying to do some things, I never believed this guy didn't make it. And that's the true story. I always said, man, it was a kid that I loved that I thought just was Drew Miles. You find those nuggets, and y'all can talk about it more than I did. But I thought this kid was like he was AI to me. It's like you would find these type of guys in a city, and you talk about between Philly and DC, this is what they had to fight against. Not even talking about Jersey. So it's just amazing what this we can do as a community, and it's still so much more to be done.
Yeah. Like, I think what makes basketball special in Delaware is, like, when we were coming up, it was a constant fight. We were fighting for respect everywhere we went. Those are the kids from Delaware. Those are the guys from Delaware. So everywhere we went, we had to bring Delaware on our back and, like, show, because you go to 5-star, it's all New York and D.C. and Jersey. That's all. So you competing against them. So when you were able to leave there and they knew your name, I put Delaware on the map. The New York guys know me. The Jersey guys, the DC guys know me. Tom Konchowski, they know me. So it was like we always had to fight for respect. And it was like, yo, if you can make it playing against the local guys, because you playing against guys that you're going to play against Monday through Friday. They know your game. They know your moves. They know everything. So if you can do good against them, you'd be like, oh, when I go out of town, one thing I always said, and I still say this to a lot of my guys that I talk to as far as basketball is concerned, I'm like, man, Delaware, man, we can put some guards out there and match up with anybody. I said, we just don't have no big men. I said, but guards, I'm like, we can go with anybody. And we just didn't get the 6'9", 6'10" guy. But I just love it because it's a respect that you earn. The respect is given to you after you earn it on the court. It's like, and it follows. Like, I'm 44 now. People still talk about Tail. Can you still make? I'm like, boy, I ain't touched a basketball forever. Like, but I'm gonna say, yeah, but it's just a close-knit family. You learn a lot. You meet a lot of people. And you have a lot of opportunities because of basketball in Delaware, and everybody knows you with the size that we are, with it being so small. So it's a big deal here to me, and I'm still big on Delaware. Like, man, look, we can do it. We can do it.
Joe, I just got one more at the buzzer, but if you want to squeeze one in before the end, go ahead.
No, I think what Tail has said is I said it at the end of before Tail talk. I believe there's so much more. I think the kids that's coming up now, you're seeing, you talk about giving back. We have these guys right here. And I just want this generation, because Matt, I always say to you, like when you'll say something about a different announcer, I'll be like, 25 years, what the other kids gonna say about you? You know what I mean? Because that's how, but if you respect the profession that you're in, if you respect it, then you should learn the history of it. And I think the thing about us is we wanted to know the history. This generation with all the technology really don't know the history. And I'm glad that they're getting two individuals that are going to give them that history and give them that foundation of the respect factor. And like Tail said, when you was on Delaware, you carried that mantle.
Yeah.
It was an honor to be the one that go to New York or go to North Carolina and say, I'm Delaware, because you represented all of us, because that's all we had, because nobody else was respecting us. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I cannot wait till the season start to get out and watch and support these two guys.
All right, quick one at the buzzer. This was actually a listener submitted question when they found out we were going to have you guys on. They want to know,
here we go.
Have you ever played each other one-on-one? If so, who won or who usually wins? And if not, who would win?
Gary always cheat.
You know what?
He always fouled me.
You know what? Honestly speaking, I don't think all of us have ever played one-on-one like that. We played 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, but I don't remember us unless it was like
George Reed, like back in the day.
Yeah, unless it was like way back in the day. But we didn't really play one-on-one like that. I remember way back when like me, Lenny, and Tel played with like DJ, and it was me and DJ against him and Lenny. But other than that, I don't remember there being, a lot of one-on-one. Yeah.
Okay, the flip side to that question was, if it did, who would win? Let's not. We not.
Listen. In that time, we all taking ourselves, like, and it's gonna be scratched to the clock, and we're gonna be upset. A ball's gonna get kicked. We gonna punch something. Like it's gonna be ultra competitive.
Like real quick, Joe. Real quick. We were playing 5-on-5 up tally. I get the cussing Gary out. He arguing, all because we want to win, and it's about a foul call. People looking at us like we crazy. We like, so after the game, we're like, "Yo, I love you, man. What you gonna get something to eat?" Like, yeah, I love you too. But just competing though, man, it be some battles in there.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Great way to end it. That is just about going to do it for this episode. Follow the Delaware Bluecoats on Twitter at @blue_coats, on Facebook and Instagram at Delaware Bluecoats. Gary, Tail, thanks so much for joining us on this episode.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. Joe, thank you,
Love y'all,
Appreciate
man.
it, brother.
Stay on real quick. For my partner, the Bluecoats ambassador of basketball, Joe Richmond, I'm Matt Murphy. We will talk to you next time on the Bluecoats Beat.